Okay, good morning everyone. So as you know, in the previous class we have seen two different types of layout managers. Out of the total five layout managers, we have seen how to create applet windows using the first two layout managers. They are nothing but flow layout and what is the second one? Border layout, right? So totally you have five layout managers. So let us get back to those layout managers. How many layout managers are there? Five layout managers, right? Flow layout, border layout, grid layout, card layout, and grid bag layout. So out of these five, we have already seen how to use the first two layout managers, that is flow layout and border layout managers, using as two different programs for each in the previous class, right? So now let us deal with grid layout. So today, now we are going to see how to use grid layout manager in our applet window. Okay. So let me show you first how a grid layout looks like after the program is executed. So for example, look at this image. So this is the applet window and this is a calculator program. So at the top you have a rectangular text box, right? So where whatever all these are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0 and other C, an asterisk symbol, minus, assignment operator, plus operator, and uh, dot. So all these are what are these? Operators, right? So all these are nothing but created in the form of buttons. So you know how to create a button in an applet window, right? So whenever you click on a particular button, so that particular button's label, so if you take this first button, the label inside that button is 1. So when you click on this button, this 1 will appear in this text field. Okay, so how this is created means by using grid layout. So you can divide the entire available screen on your applet window or any other frame window into some rows and columns. So just like you have rows and columns in a matrix, so in the same way you can divide the entire window into some rows and columns. So if you observe, this is one row, so it has four columns, and this is one column, first column, this is first column, this is second column, and this is third column, and this is fourth column. So in that way you can divide, you can specify how many rows you want to create and how many columns you want to create. In each row cell you can lay one component, one AWT component. Okay, so this is how a grid layout lays the AWT components in a applet window or a frame window. So let us see the predefined class called grid layout, which is provided to us, and the different constructors defined by that class and how to use them in a program, right? So let us go to the grid layout class. So this grid layout class provides us with three different constructors. So the first one is the default constructor. So it will simply use a grid layout, but it will not allow you to specify the number of rows and number of columns that you want to have in your applet window. Okay. Coming to the second one has two integer parameters. Those two integer parameters are related to the number of rows and number of columns. The first integer specifies the number of rows that you can have in your applet window in the grid, and the second parameter specifies the number of columns that you want to have in your applet window. Then coming to the third constructor, so apart from the first two parameters that you have in the previous constructor, so they are same here also. Apart from those two, you will have two more integer parameters, namely uh, horizontal and vertical. They are in short written as HORZ and VERT. So you know that we have used similar kind of parameters in the previous layouts also to specify the amount of space that must be left between each AWT component in a horizontal direction as well as in vertical direction, right? So if you want to do so, you have to use this third constructor. So totally you have three constructors. First one is the default constructor which does not receive any parameter. Second one is it has two parameters, both are of type integers, which are used to specify the number of rows and columns, and you will not specify any amount of space that you want to leave between the components in horizontal direction as well as in the vertical direction. But if you don't specify, what will happen is the default space is 5 pixels, so 5 pixels of space will be left between the components in each and every row, and even in the components between each component in a column. Okay, so that is about the constructors. So now let us see how to write a program using this grid layout. So this is very simple program. I'll show you first the output. I'll show you, and then we can explain the program. So this is very simple. So the name of the class that we defined here is grid layout demo. So let me copy this first and let us go to the command prompt. So let me compile it. Java C grid layout demo dot Java. So the program is successfully compiled. So now let us run it using the applet viewer tool. So now look at this applet window, the output. So you are able to see the entire applet window is divided into a 4 by 4 matrix, and each cell in that matrix is considered as a one will be having one component, right? So I've created what are these buttons. So how many buttons are created? Totally 4 by 4. 4 into 4 is 16 buttons are created, starting from the labels, starting with 0 till 15. Okay. So now let us let us go back to the program and see how we have done this. So this is just we are not going to implement any events here. So that's why we are not implementing any event listener interface for our class in the program. So let us go back to the program. So we need not discuss about all these first few lines which are common to every applet program. So we are defining a class called grid layout demo and just extending it with applet class. So we are not implementing any listener interface because we are not responding to any event. So our focus here is only to show how a grid layout will lay the components, right? So let us go into the class definition. I have defined an integer variable called n, and whose value is initialized to 4, and we have made that integer variable as final variable. That means you cannot modify its value from 4 to any other value after in the later part of your program. And this is also made static, so you know what is a static and what is a final variable, right? So the value of the variable n is initialized to 4. So now literally this n will become a constant. So inside the init method, you know how to how to set the layout for your applet window. So you can do that by calling the set layout method. So inside the set layout method parenthesis, I am passing one parameter. So what is that parameter? It is nothing but the layout class object. So which layout we want to use now? Grid layout. So just pass an object of grid layout class. So instead of creating an object earlier in the program, I'm directly instantiating using the new operator inside the parenthesis of the set layout method itself. So this will create a instance or object of grid layout class. So what is the constructor we are using? We have earlier mentioned 3 different constructors. First constructor is a default which does not receive any parameter, and second one is going to receive 2 parameters, both are of type integer. So if you observe, n comma n 2 parameters are passed, and this n value is nothing but an integer value. So which constructor will be invoked? The second version of the constructor will be invoked. Okay, so this is going to create a 4 by 4 matrix, sorry, a grid containing 4 by 4 cells. In each cell you can lay one AWT component. Why? Because n value is 4, right? So after doing this, The next step is we need to set the font, because by default if you use the default font size, the font of that label inside the button will be very small. So I want to make it appear large. So what I'm doing is I'm calling the set font method, and this set font method directly I'm instantiating the font class by mentioning the font as sans serif and font style as for font dot bold, so the letters will appear in bold letters, and the size of the letter will be 24. So I need not explain it much because we have been using this set font method very extensively in all our programs since long back. So there is not much to discuss about this one. So first we will set the layout to grid layout containing a grid of 4 by 4 cells. That means 4 by 4 is nothing but 16. 4 into 4 is 16 cells will be created. Each row containing 4 cells, and similarly each column containing 4 cells. So how I'm creating, how I'm laying the components here, AWT components, I'm laying only one type of component, that is a button component. So instead of creating 16 buttons, what you can do is you can use a for loop, a nested for loop. Each for loop will iterate for 4 number of times. So the inner loop 4 times and the outer loop 4 times. So 4 into 4, totally 16 iterations will be there. And in the inner for loop, what I am doing is I am adding a button by calling the add method. So if you observe, this is the add method that I am calling. So you know the add method is used to add a AWT component to an applet window. Already because we have set the layout, so as per that layout, this component will be arranged on the screen. So what I'm passing as parameter, I need to pass a button object. So instead of creating a button statically previously in a program, dynamically I'm instantiating the button object in the add method itself, and I'm passing as parameter one parameter we need to pass, that is string parameter, but I made it as a blank string, and then I'm concatenating with the value of k. Okay, so if the value of k is 1, so your button will have a label 1. If the value of k is 2, the button will have a label 2, so on up to 16, sorry 15, from starting from 0 up to 15, totally you will have 16 buttons created, because these for loops will iterate for how many times, totally together 16 iterations will be there. So inside the for loop, first what I am doing is I am declaring a integer type variable k, and the value of k is set to I into n plus j. So in the first iteration, if you observe, I value will be 0 and even j's value also will be 0. So in that case, what will be the value of k now? I value is 0, 0 into n is 0, plus j value is also 0, 0 plus 0 is 0. So the value of k will be 0. And then what I am doing is I am checking whether the value of k is greater than or equal to 0. If it is less than 0, then we don't want to create that button. So we want to create it only when it is a 0 or positive value. So I'm checking whether the k value is greater than or equal to 0. So if the condition is satisfied, then this add method will be called, and this add method, as we discussed earlier, is going to create a button with a label same as that of the value of k. So initially, now what is the value of k? 0. So a button will be created during the first iteration with its label as 0. Then in the next iteration, in the inner for loop iteration, j value will become 1. So the condition is satisfied, and so this statement gets executed once again. So the k's value will be now modified to as I value remains 0, 0 into n is 0, plus j value is 1. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So this condition is also satisfied, and this will add another button called 1 with its label as 1. So in the next iteration, 2 and then 3 will be created. So after 4 buttons are added, we'll go to the second row, because there are no more grid cells available in the first row, because we have created only the size of the row is 4 and column size is also 4. So you can lay only a maximum of 4 components. So after the 4 components are filled in the first row, the next component will go to the second row. So one iteration is completed in the inner for loop, so you'll go back to the outer for loop and increase the value of I to 1. So when I becomes 1, again j will start from 0. So this time I value is 1, 1 into n. What is n? N value is 4. So 4 plus j value is 0. 4 plus 0 is 4. So now the last button that we created in the first row is 3. So the next button now is 4. So 4 will be laid in the second row, first column. Okay. So in the next iteration of the inner for loop, j will become 1. So then this value will become 4 plus 1, 5. So 5 will be laid in the second row, second column. So similarly in the next iteration, 6 and then 7. So in this way these loops will reiterate for 16 times, and each time the loop is iterated, one new button will be added as per the layout of the applet window that we created earlier, right? So in that way, finally, what is the output of your program? What will be the output of your program? Your applet window is divided into a grid containing 4 rows and 4 columns. That means each row containing 4 cells, or each column containing 4 cells. Each cell will accommodate one AWT component. So what is that AWT component that we are adding to each cell of your grid layout? Button. So that button, the first button will have a label 0, second button will have a label 1, third button label 2, so on up to the last button is the 16th button. So that is it is going to have a label 15. Okay. So that is how the output is obtained this way. I hope you understood, right?